When someone mentions soft life, most of the time we equate it to money and luxury, which that is part, but truly soft life begins with self-love first, working through trauma and exploring the real joy of life. It's a life free of stress and full of purpose. My name is Miracle. I'm a business owner and educator. My guest and I would like to let you in on some soft life secrets. Our special guest, Rashan Ali, who is a good friend of mine,
Yes.
and my nephew, Edward Davis. How are you both doing today?
Well, all right. Well, all right, Miracle. Look at you. Got your podcast going on.
Yes, soft life
Yes,
secrets.
yes.
So I brought both of you on because both of you all live a very busy life.
Yes.
Rashan, particularly you, being an actor, mom, and all these things you have going on with the cool soror.
Yeah.
How do you manage to keep a soft life?
So I always, let me see. When I wake up in the morning, I try to make sure I meditate. This morning, I was actually successful because every day is different, right?
Uh-huh.
So I meditated this morning, Palo Santo sticks and candles and affirmations and prayer and journal and that type of thing. I know I had to be prepared to leave here, but I also thought about what I'm going to do for myself after I leave here. So I'm going to take myself to lunch after I leave here. I may go to Buckhead and go to Capitol Grill and get me a nice piece of tuna and some champagne, and I have my computer and a book because I love myself a lot and I really love spending time with myself. But I had to grow into learning how to treat myself almost every single day. And I don't feel guilty about it because if I can't fill myself up, if I'm not full, then I can't serve the people who are most important in my life, which obviously is God, my husband, and my children. So, and my little doggy. So I just want to make sure that I fill my cup up. Like, I really do. And I used to feel so bad about like doing those types of things. But now, baby, I'm like, what are we doing today? Because you worked really hard a couple of weeks ago and you have a whole voiceover session tomorrow. My second one of the year. I'm very excited about that. Another corporation I'm working with. So I'm working tomorrow. So I'm soft lifing today.
Right. Would you agree that a soft life is just not for women? Men want a soft life too?
I feel like men and women can have a soft life, but I do feel like somebody has to be able to provide that life for them.
Okay.
Or, if they want to do it for themselves, but somebody has to put that work in. Somebody has to make that sacrifice to be able to enjoy it down the road.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh.
That's real good.
Oh. Now, Rashan, how do your husband partake, like by you being gone all the time, and like you said, you have your me time? How do you make time for family and intimacy?
Well, yeah, I think that I had to learn how to figure out what that looks like, look like for my family, because for a certain part of my career, I was very much into just being Rashan Ali out in the streets and in the club and at schools and talking to other people. But then my husband told me one day, he was like, you give the whole world Rashan Ali, and I can't even get Rashan when you come in this house. Wow. So but that was early on in my career, and I had to be like, dang, he's right. I give everybody myself. And so I had to kind of reconfigure what that looks like. And then once we've been married 21 years, and our level of communication is so beautiful now because I learned how to be a better communicator. I learned like, okay, if we're going to do this thing, let's do this thing right. And so now we all, and our kids are older now. So it's like, hey, we're going to cook them some food, and we're going to go to CNS, and we're going to go to Houston. It's like we hang out because a 17 and 14-year-old, our 17-year-old is about to go to college. And then 4 years later, we're going to be like, we got to kick it. And so I understand what kicking it feels like, and being with him and being up under him. Like we just redesigned like a certain area in our home, and so we call it the entertainment room because we don't have a basement, so we wanted to provide, make sense of our space that we have until we move. And we're just in there looking at football, and like we might hold hands, like, and it's really sweet. So I know what he needs. he needs that. He needs me to hold his hand, rub his head. Like he likes that type of stuff. But now I understand it. It's not so much about me and what I'm doing out in the world. I know what's gonna make this man feel really well. But also, because I do make money, I will never emasculate my husband. He is still the head of our home.
Yep.
He still provides for us. Granted, I can provide for us in a financial way that probably he can't right now, but you don't throw that in a man's face.
Right.
You don't ever do that.
Right.
And so I learned how to make sure that my husband continues to feel like and is the man of our home.
house.
Yeah, and I get that because I became better.
Right.
It started with me.
Right.
Yeah, I became better.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Edward, what's your take?
To piggyback off of that, when I got married, I had to learn how to be a good husband because there's nobody that really teaches you that. You know, growing up, you see men, you know, we think that we're supposed to get as many women as possible, just the Playboy lifestyle. And so when I got married, I realized there was a lot of discipline. There was a lot of things that I had to learn as far as not being, not just choosing to do right when she wasn't around.
Man.
So that took a lot for me.
Wait, say that again.
I had to choose to do right when she wasn't around. And that took a lot for me to realize that you just got to do right because you want to do it. Not because you're afraid somebody's looking at your GPS or something like that. You just have to say, hey, you know, it's the character. So it took me, you know, probably like 4 to 5 months to really learn those skills. It took longer than that, but that's when I started realizing, like, you know what, you know, you signed up. This is a commitment. This is something that's serious. You know, she believes in you. You believe in her. So, you know, do it the right way. And so when it comes to the marriage, I just try to do right by her. We actually had like a trying time this past year. 2022 was a great year financially for me. You know, with the boom of the pandemic, you know, everybody moved online, had a big consulting business, went through the roof. She actually retired and was, you know, living the quote unquote soft life.
Yeah.
And then 2023 came, and then it was like the market changed where it wasn't as good online. And I was like, babe, you know, we gotta cut down. And she was like, okay, well, what do you need me to do? And it was like, to be able to have that partner, to be able to have somebody that it's not just me against the world, it's us against the world. It was refreshing to know that, okay, I can give her that soft life, but if she needs to step up, she's there to help me shoulder the load. So that was really, really good. And as far as just the woman, as far as, you know, the marriage, I think the man just has to be a person that women want to submit to, you know, because a lot of times women submit and then guys put them in bad positions, have them looking bad. So if you have a woman that's really got your back and doing those things for you, make sure you try to do right by them so that they don't, you know, go out looking bad.
Right. Okay, so we have a lot of friends that are single that are boss chicks. And so meaning 6-figure income, very successful in their life, but they always complain about the substance that's out there as far as the men. What is your take on that?
You know, it's unfair for me to even have a real take. I just know that I have some incredibly beautiful women in my life who deserve everything. And so I literally pray for my friends so that whenever they find that good thing, it is that good thing. So it's very hard for me to say what's wrong or if there even is anything wrong, because that's unfair.
Right.
But I want my babe, all of them, from my best friend to my bestie boo. Like I want everybody to have that feeling that I have. And granted, I've worked for it and it's tough. Right. But I do enjoy my guy. And I just feel like everybody, whether it's a guy or a woman, whatever it is, whatever you feel is who your partner is going to be. I just want them to feel the beauty of what it can be.
Right.
Put the work in. Put the work in. You gotta put the work in, and then you can see the fruits of your labor. So I'm still hopeful for all of my friends who are single and boss chicks, because every person in my life who's a single woman is getting it done.
Exactly.
In this world, like I be like, hey man, I be wanting this so bad. But it's like, but also in the same breath, there are so many single women who are really good.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
they good.
Exactly.
They live in their own soft life.
Exactly. And that too is fine. I do want to say that you don't have to be married or be in partnership with someone to have a fruitful, beautiful life.
Right.
And I want my daughters to know that too. My daughter, her godmother is my best friend, Jenny, and she told me at 7, I was like, here I am putting my ideals on her. Like, when you get married and have kids, she was like, what if I don't want to live like that? What if I want to live my life like Jenny? My best friend. She said that at 7. So I was glad. Her godmother.
Yes.
So I was glad that, first of all, my daughter got me together. But secondly, that she can see womanhood is not equated to children and marriage. Jenny lives a beautiful life.
But her at 7
Knew that.
But it's a lot of women that can't accept that at 50.
Yeah, I know. And I don't know that reality. So,
gotcha.
But I also want my girls to know that you can have a beautiful life without having to say that you have this marriage with picket fence and a dog and all of those things. That's what mommy has.
So basically you're saying soft life comes with self-love first.
You said it.
It starts with self-love.
Yeah.
And then once you love yourself, then you can kind of identify someone can come in and give you that soft life,
or y'all
can create it
together.
Yeah.
So I think that's the root of the problem right there, where how you said women don't have to have a man to have that soft life. When
I ain't really say it like that.
I mean, but that's kind of what you're
I
saying.
alluded to.
But the best practice is a man and a woman or 2 couples together, especially in today's economy. So I feel like a lot of the boss chicks, they compete when it comes to their business, their jobs, their ambitions, but they don't compete when it comes to getting the high quality men that they want. And people don't want to talk about it, but it's just supply and demand. It's only so many good men out here. It's so many boss chicks. And so if you're trying to compete,
why we gotta compete?
Because that's just the way of the world. Supply and demand. Everybody wants a provider, correct? If it's only it's only so many providers, everybody can't have one. Somebody has to miss out. So either you're just going to say, "Oh man, I'm just going to be a boss chick forever," or I'm going to compete for a man to say, "Well, I'm competing for these businesses that I'm." I
hear you, Edwin. I understand compete, but like the word compete to me is just it seems like a lot, because like why if a man findeth a good thing, then why do we have to compete for that man? Because
people always say the man is the gift, or the woman's the relationship's the gift. So the same way the man has to find a woman, the woman has to compete to be something.
You said find and then compete.
I'm just saying. I said a man has to compete for a woman as well. Because the same way you're trying to go after a girl, it's the guy she worked with trying to go after, the guy from high school trying to go after. So everybody's competing. It's just I feel like boss chicks feel like they don't have to compete, and they do. And especially when you get to the point where you get up in age, where every year somebody graduated from college and high school, and guys who have money, they're not trying to find a boss chick. They're trying to find.
I know.
Something that they want.
Say that again.
Guys with means, they're not trying to find a boss chick. They're just trying to find something that, that gives them that peace, that they have fun with. That's why most guys date young.
I know, and I have heard several men in my who I'm really cool with. I've heard the word grooming.
Grooming. They want to groom.
They want to groom a woman.
I think that's. You just want to, groom.
But is that lazy? Because they don't want to be accountable.
No.
Why do you have to groom?
Why,
is it an insecurity?
Why every time a guy has a preference, they try to shame it? If a woman wants a 6'5" guy that makes 6 figures, that's cool. But if a guy wants a girl that's, a video vixen, that's shameful. Or if he wants a girl that's younger than him, that's shameful. Like, why is that?
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a great point. And I understand that. I get it. I have an open mind too, though, because it could be somebody in this seat like, "Oh, but I know you ain't saying it like that."
Yeah, and that's why I'm trying to give people a different perspective, because a lot of times you get on podcasts and people tell you what you want to hear.
What you want to hear.
And you get off the
That's
podcast
not what this is
and
about.
You have to deal with life, and you never have anything. Nothing changes. You listen to the same stuff since you got on YouTube and nothing ever changes. And so people have to change their perspective.
Yeah,
and I'm around a lot of, high profile athletes, and I see what they go after. And I mean, you just see what the guys are going after, and it makes sense.
Talk about that. I'm glad you touched on that. So being around a lot of these high profile athletes, you too, and stars, what do you see or what do you notice about the type of women that they're attracted to? Like the ones like that are fresh out on the scene versus the ones who've been on the scene and ready to settle down.
Of course, the guys that are fresh, fresh to the NBA and NFL, they want the video vixens, the girls you see all over social media. Yeah, Instagram, stuff like that. But when it comes down to them getting married, a lot of them choose the girls from high school or college, or, people that knew them before they were, stars. But I noticed they still cheat with the Instagram models. So, I mean, might need to edit that out. Hold on, man. Try to finish your business, friend. Yeah, come on, man. Oh, man. Take that back. But they don't do that. I mean, I just see some stuff. Right. There you go. But, I mean, I just realized that those Instagram models, that they compete. They're on the scene. They make themselves accessible. They don't compete. They're not combative. And that's what I realized, that, when you get to a certain point, certain men, they don't want that.
What do they just want somebody what do they want? Just do whatever you want to do. I'll be home.
That doesn't equate to me disrespecting you. It just means
because I do know, because we have several conversations, like, we just have conversations about just how women are moving in certain spaces. A lot of women know what they sign up for too.
Oh, absolutely.
Be like,
absolutely.
You know what, he in the league. Let me he had a baby, man, but his money's so good.
Let me just be quiet.
Exactly. So there are a lot of women who are like that too. So,
what are your thoughts on that?
Oh man, what a great question. I don't judge people. I don't like to do that. Because you just never know someone's why.
Right.
And just because your why is different.
Let me say
from their
something.
why.
I said a long time ago,
Listen,
I would never,
everything
I said, I would never do.
End up doing it.
I be like, I said, so I never judge.
I don't. I just don't like, I don't like judging women. I don't like doing any of that. But it exists.
Could you guys be in that situation?
Oh
no, y'all different, right? Y'all different.
That generation,
right?
I believe.
But I will say that as I've grown older and just gotten and understanding that we are all humans being, that, and a lot of women may not agree with me when I say this, cheating is no longer a deal breaker for me in a relationship.
No,
it's no longer a deal breaker. If he had a mishap or whatever, I understand that we are humans. And, of course, I haven't been in that situation.
Right.
But I used to be like, oh, hell, I would never, oh, no. But now, as you think about just life, I don't think that I would be like, this is it.
Right.
Because I just don't. And I've grown into that type of thing because that is mature. And I would want him, if something were to happen, hopefully open communication, that we could actually say, hey, this is what happened. Can you forgive me or whatever, and vice versa, just because there is a level of love there.
But that comes from
open
communication.
You have to. Back in the day, I used to be like, I don't want to hurt his feelings if I say this. I would live in that space, and that is so detrimental to any relationship.
Okay, we talked about on the other show about communicating with a soft life, and so one of the topics that we came up was that in relationships, people don't like to communicate, and men particularly. Why is that, Edward? Why do you feel men shy away from communicating or touching on the topic at hand?
I think because guys just avoid conflict. Most guys want to avoid conflict. If you tell your old lady, say, hey man, I would appreciate you if you would lose a little bit weight, or if we could, explore with different things to put fire back into the relationship. That could be a 2-3 week, her pouting around the house. So a lot of guys just try to avoid conflicts like that. When it comes to communicating, I learned to just go ahead and just get it out the way. But I mean, that's
But
what I
you've
get from
learned to
it.
what?
Yeah, I learned that. I got that over time.
Okay.
To just go ahead and just, if I got a problem, just go ahead and address it, and then we can get over it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like. A lot of times issues can be, hashed out if you address it up front. Because once you let it linger,
That's when the problems come.
stuff piles on top, on top, on top, on top. And then the next thing you know, you don't forgot, and not into the next episode. Now it's a blow up.
Yep.
Because you never addressed the root. Yeah.
I try to get it out of my wife because I don't want her to ever be in a situation where she has to go somewhere else to talk to another man and express her problems, because that's when bigger problems
Anything can happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I always keep that.
That's a good point.
That's a good point. You're
You're real
young.
mature.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dang.
You're young and you realize that, but it takes some guys 40, 50 years old before they realize if she's a communicator, she's going to communicate
Yeah.
with you or without
Somebody
you.
else, right?
And you know what?
And you don't want her communicating with anyone else. You would rather her communicate with you.
So the good thing about my wife is we communicated. She wants to be. Her mom was a housewife.
Oh,
so
okay,
Her
okay,
mom
okay.
was raised in house. So that's what she wanted to do. So it
Got
wasn't like I forced her.
Right. Okay, got it. That makes sense. That makes sense. I want to piggyback on that, but if the woman is not the communicator, I was not. And so, again, I think, like I alluded to earlier in the conversation, it just took me a while to become this type of communicator. And now it's just like, hey, I'm here. I'm doing this. I'll see you later. Everything's done. The dinner's cooked. The girls are getting picked up. Everything's fine. Why don't you go out of town with your friends? You know what I mean? So I've just been encouraging him to live a soft life too, because he sees me. I'm going to LA next week. Where you going to LA for, Rashan? I don't know. Just going because I want to go. And he went to a football game, a SEC game in the fall with his boys. I'm like, great. And don't call. Like, be good. You're fine. I promise you.
Is that healthy though?
Why? Why wouldn't
No, I'm
it
just
be?
saying, is that healthy?
Absolutely it is.
You think so?
Yeah. What do you mean, what's healthy? Us going on different trips?
You guys been married for how long?
21 years.
So that's different. After 21 years, that's probably.
Yeah. We didn't do these type of
Okay,
trips
yeah,
early
because if
on.
I try to say,
not
babe,
early
I'm going
on.
to Miami
If you
and I'm not calling you, that would be a problem.
Yeah, it would have been a problem early on in my early on in our
you
in
said
our
you can't
marriage.
get away with that taste.
But I know, but at the end of the day, like,
Right.
I know he's coming home and I'm coming home. Like, and
Right.
I stand on that.
Right.
And I stand on that. And if anything changes, we can actually talk about it. Because we always say, hey man, if there's anybody out there that's getting your attention, or if you got anything that you want to talk about, like that's how we communicate now. Back in the day, I used to be like, oh my God, what if I say this, or what's gonna happen? But now that it's just not the case, and we are the very best we have ever been now.
But y'all are friends.
We were friends first. And I like my husband.
Say that again.
Say it again. I like my spouse. People forget about liking their spouse. Love gonna do this. But I generally like to be around him. I like to spend time with him, and I like him. So all the times when we've had some tough times, I was like, but I still like that dude, though.
Yeah.
We're gonna watch this game. We're gonna watch this game. We're gonna drink a little wine, and then it's whatever. Because I like him, and he likes me. And
I love
think
that. That was one of the best advice you gave me, to make sure that you find somebody you like, because you always said you're gonna do like this with love.
Yeah, man.
But liking
somebody,
y'all can go kick it, drink on the porch,
and that's what we do. We at the Chicago Pizza up the street from our house, or just like yesterday, we were just in the room watching Sports Center. Like, that's my guy.
Yeah.
Gosh. Yeah, that's my guy.
Gosh. I mean, can you say that? Like, that's my dog. That's my girl.
I was having this conversation with Britt yesterday, actually. I feel like females or women can learn to love a man over time. It just depending on, if you do right by her and take care of her. But a man, he either loves a woman or he doesn't. It's gonna be tough.
Shout it love, anybody. You feel me?
I like the fact though, but we're gonna have to bring you back, Edward, and let you tell the story on how he chased his wife.
Really?
Yes, how they was together. It's interesting story. Break it down just a little bit, Edward. And he had to realize after being out here in these Atlanta streets that
What was
let me
good?
go back and
Okay.
get her before she gone.
So the short version of it was we worked together.
Mm.
We worked together. All right.
That's why you don't want her to mess around at work.
Right. So I ended up, we ended up dating. Well, I was dating this other girl at the time. So we ended up dating a year later. She came back and we got together. So we was dating about 2 years. And then that's when I became an NFL agent. Money started coming in, living the high life in Atlanta. I said, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. So I broke up with her. And I ended up I started this show called The Social Media Bachelor, a dating show online. So I would date women throughout Atlanta and stream it online. And it got big, but it was crazy because I was like 4 or 5 episodes in. And of course, only strippers or dancers would go on the show because they want the clout. So I'm about 4 episodes in and it's fun, but I started to realize, I said, man, this is toxic. You know, like this my lifestyle, I'm partying, doing all these types of things. And I'm just the type of women I was dealing with. I just said, you know what, this isn't the life I want to live. You know, maybe 21, 22, but I'm about to get into my 30s. This isn't it. So after like the 4th, 5th episode, I just shut the show down. I literally was just like, hey, you know what? I'm going back to Brit. So we did like a season finale. Well, I brought her back on the show. I said, you know what? I'm picking Brit. This is it. And I shut it down.
Literally.
Shut just like that.
What?
Yeah.
I want to know if you still got an episode. I want to see.
Yes.
I gotta show it to the kids. I gotta show it to the kids. Like Dad used to be that guy.
Right.
But yeah, it was fun.
It was
fun.
hilarious.
It was fun. It was good. But I realized really quickly, like, do you want to go this route?
Yeah.
You know, you want this to be a legacy? And I said no. And so I shut it down.
Wow. And she was like, oh, yeah, I want you back.
No, because it was funny because she was trying to act like she was dating other guys out, but I had to hurry up and get back for somebody.
Right. Somebody came in.
Somebody got
Give her that soft life.
Right. I was like, you know what? Let me shut this down.
He
for
said I
real.
had to hurry up and get back.
But you know what? What really shook me up? It was this girl. She was actually a dancer from Magic City. She's really, IG model. I'm happy to get her on the show. And she come in, she's sitting on the couch, and just so happened I had a picture of Brit hanging up. She said, "Who's that girl?" And I was like, "Oh no, man." She was like, "She's cute." And I was like, "Oh, that's my ex-girlfriend." She was like, "Why are you doing this show?"
Wow.
I was just like, why am I doing this show?
Don't lose your identity in these relationships.
That's what I love about you, because you've been married 21 years and we've been friends for years.
Right.
But she never forgot who she was. And she always continued to make time for friends.
Oh,
like,
yeah, I do.
We believe in that, and we talk about that all the time, how important it is to have your friends, because your friends are your friends.
They are. And my most important, I think, with me doing that, I want my daughters to see that. I want my daughters to see, oh, I'm about to go kick it. I was kicking it all weekend, but y'all had these good crab cakes for dinner. And you had quiche, homemade quiche this morning for breakfast. I'm taking care of my family, but I take care of myself by hanging out with my friends, going to events, and all of these different things. I want them to see that you do not give your entire life to your mate, and you don't do it like that for your children. That's me. Yeah. I'm one of those people that's like, I love my girls. I do. But I am not a helicopter mom, and I'm not going to be, I don't want them to feel like I'm all in their lives where they can't be who they are.
Yeah.
And so that's how I parent, and that's how I wife.
One advice your mom gave me, she said, y'all are outgoing people, and whatever man chooses us, they choose us because of who we are, our personality.
First.
And my personality is because of my friends. So if I stop being around my friends, I'm not that person you met.
Right.
Now I become somebody different. So what is your take on that? Like with your wife, with her friends, do you encourage her to have girlfriend time, or do you want her around you 24/7?
I think the secret to our success or our happiness is that I choose pick somebody who wants to be what you already want them to be. So as far as like, I don't have to change her. I didn't have to sit down and say, hey, now that we're together, you have to do this. She already chose to do those things because that's who she was. And so me getting with her was seamless. Now, if you're trying to get with somebody and change them, I think that's when it goes bad. So you have to pick people for who they already are.
Yes.
Because if you're dating off of potential or what you think they're going to be, most people don't change.
They
you know?
don't.
They
My
don't.
mama said
Most
that.
people don't change. It's hard. It's hard to change yourself. You know. So imagine trying to change somebody else. So for me, who I married was already who I wanted him to be. So it's kind of hard for me to explain. You know.
Yeah.
To answer that.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good.
And we all
You
evolve
answered it.
too, and that's the thing. A key about, I think, with a relationship. Two things really quickly. Just like our fingerprints, all of our relationships are different. Nobody has
The
this
same
perfect
blueprint.
thing. So what works for you and Britt ain't gonna work for me and Smitty.
Right.
You know what I mean? And Miracle, like it's not. It's gonna. So that's why I'm like, you can't judge what people will tolerate,
Right.
how people move, because everybody has their own thing. They have their own thing, and so I think that that's the most important thing. I forgot my other point was going to be because I was talking to you. Change. And my mom said you can never change anybody. People have to change on their own and do their own thing. So I think that was the point I was trying to make. But again, that each relationship, like each person, has its own identity. And when we start comparing what you got going on, Black Love, hashtag Black Love,
yeah.
you don't know what's going on at 5879 Butler Creek Drive.
Right.
You don't know what's going on up here. And I don't know what's going on in your house.
Right.
But I'm going to show up. I'm going to show my guy out because he looks, my husband is very good looking. And I know it.
Yeah.
Every time I post him, I be seeing the girls. I be like, I know, sis. I feel you. I feel you. I feel the same way. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it is what it is. But people are people. And once you're okay with that, and now you know I've grown to this place.
Yes.
I am okay with who I am. I'm okay with who he is and how we coexist.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. This has been amazing.
Yes.
I've had a great time with you all.
Yes,
I will be bringing you all back later. But this was amazing.
Thank
What
you.
would you like to leave with the people?
Do you, boo. Do you. And embrace this life. We are here on borrowed time.
Oh, say it.
And I would lead the people with happiness starts within.
Happiness starts within.
Yeah.
There
I
you
like
have
that
it.
one.
There you have it, guys.
Yes.
See you next time on Soft Life Secrets.
Yes. Bum, 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 bum.
Bum, bum, bum.